There is nothing worse than untapped potentials. If you know that you're made for more, this is the place. I know that every successful person I've ever met has one thing in common. They do not let themselves fall victim to their circumstances. They figure out a way to rise above it. So join me on this journey where I help you to be better, do better, and have better in life and in business. If you're feeling stuck and you're needing some practical tools, some hope to get you to that better life, this is definitely the place for you. Hey everybody, welcome to the Unstuck Podcast. And today I get a chance to have a candid conversation with one of my mentors, one of my coaches, Kimberly Olson. Kimberly, welcome to the Unstuck Podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I am too. Oh my goodness. What's so funny, Kimberly, is that I didn't know who you were before my friend Sherry introduced you to me. And it's so interesting because the things that you've done is like, oh my gosh, all the things that I've been trying to do and all the things that I've been, on my heart to do and things I've been trying. And so it was literally like you came into my life as this perfect fit into who I am and what I'm trying to do. And I just think that it's so amazing to watch you and all the things that you're doing. So tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what your platform is and how you're trying to help people in the world.
Sure. Yeah. And when I think about you, you remind me of myself. Like you've already done so much, but like, girl, like you just wait. Like I can see so many parallels in our, like who we are. It's really cool. So I'm excited to connect with you in this way. So I have a brand called The Gold Digger Girl, and I serve female entrepreneurs to teach them simple systems and online strategies in social media. So for anyone, whether they want to, they're selling paintings in an art gallery and they want to come on social, or maybe they're trying to get that network marketing business off the ground. For those that have found what has been taught for so long isn't working anymore, the cold messaging, the spamming, the posting and praying just doesn't feel in alignment with who they are. My job is to help them get aligned, help them understand and support them and guide them on how they can show up on social media in a way that's genuine, authentic, to really connect and stop selling and serve. And by doing that, they're actually going to have the success that they want.
And I love that because that's who I am. I value authenticity. I value service. I value just growth. And that's who you are. And that's what your brand is. And so it's so much fun. And I got to just ask, like, what is it that got you to this point? Tell me a little bit about who Kimberly was, up until this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been a rocky road. And I think anyone listening or watching, I mean, you can relate to anyone that you've had a chance to talk to that has had success. It really does look like it was overnight. I did come on to social fast, didn't have a following, and I grew very quickly, but it was all the work before that really put me in that place. It's just crazy when I look back at all the struggles. But I first got into online marketing in 2011. So I've been on and off for 10 years, and I had some initial success. I was working for a company where they had me traveling all over North America, public speaking, on TV, radio appearances, kind of representing their brands. But in the way that we did it, it was actually, my brand at the time was called Fit Kim. And so my YouTube channel blew up, my blog, all of that was through them. And so when I left that, I had to kind of do it on my own, and I failed. I'm a nutritionist. I have PhDs in natural health and holistic nutrition. I would come up with these products, meal plans, packages, and, my aunt-in-law would buy it. Like nobody would buy it, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm the biggest failure, And so I invested thousands upon thousands of dollars going to conferences, getting into programs, putting it all on credit cards, money I didn't have. Yeah. And it didn't work. And so there was this whole time where I was like, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe I don't have what it takes to be an entrepreneur, because I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So in 2016, a few months before, about 6 weeks before I had my second baby, I was 8.5 months pregnant, and I was let go from my big salary corporate job. We had just moved into our dream home. We had bought 2 new vehicles. I mean, we were living the life, right? Like, I think this is so common because we think that money's always going to be there. And I handle the finances, and I realized, oh my gosh, we are in a lot of trouble. So I went into a pretty dark depression. We cashed in our 401ks, put everything in credit cards. I hustled, did things here and there. I ran a boot camp in my backyard and had my baby strapped to me. Like, I was just like, all right, like mama's got to make money,
Yeah.
So I really struggled, to be completely transparent. I was not doing well. Motherhood came quick, and I had postpartum with both of them. And I started coping with, a glass of wine before dinner. I'd have a glass of wine with dinner, another after, and that just kind of became my way. And, one of the things, there's a big movement is this whole, is it wine o'clock for the moms? We just earn this right to have a glass of wine. And I really fell into that culture. So in 2017, a friend reached out to me about network marketing, and I kept telling her, no, I don't want anything to do with that. Right. I'm an online marketer. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Right. We have websites and we're so fancy. So, I got to a point though, she kept asking me, and she was like, look, dude, I quit my job. I have a car. I was like, well, I don't have any of that. I had taken a job locally that was 2.5 hours of commuting, and I missed everything. I mean, I didn't see Elise's first steps. We have it on video because someone else took a picture, took a video of it. I would FaceTime into doctor's appointments. I mean, I was missing everything. And I was like, okay, what I'm doing isn't working. So I thought, I'm just going to I'm going to go all in and try this out. So 30 days, I had, initial success. I made $1,000. I was like, oh my gosh, this could really work. Right.
Yeah.
The next month it was $2,000. I was like, I could quit my job. The next month it was $200.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so I had blown through my warm market, and I didn't have any skills. And so they were just teaching post and pray. So I knew that I was self-sabotaging. And this is so common for people, because I had the success, I could do it. And then I just stopped working on my business. I literally just stopped. And it was that $200 paycheck where I realized, girl, you have an opportunity here to change your life. It gives me chills thinking about it. You can change your family's life. I don't even know how I'm still married. I was in just such a dark depression, and that alcoholism, it runs in my family. I mean, it's torment. I mean, the amount of emotional abuse that you give yourself on a daily basis. Oh, you don't think you're good enough. You don't think you have any value to offer. So my friend, it's so divine. My friend reached out. She's like, Kimberly, you got to talk to my friend LaChelle. Man, I've struggled with anxiety and depression, and we're so similar. And I'm a new person. She's changing me. And I'm like, what? So I got on the phone with this woman, Michelle Thompson, and she's like, yeah, I can totally help you. I'm like, you can? She's like, absolutely. So we did everything remote, and I was like, I am all in. I am done with the self-sabotage and the lack and all the things. And I did everything she said. She made me write down stuff in my journal every day. How boring, right? She made me tell myself a new story. I mean, we did deep work. And it took 6 weeks. And one day I woke up and I said to my husband, I've been drinking a lot more than you realize. It was this confession, oh my God, he's going to hate me. And he goes, that's okay. You need to get some help, And I said, I am getting help right now. And I'm done with that. And he's like, okay. And I was like, wait, he still loves me? I was like, oh my gosh. Okay. And Michelle was like, I talked to her the next day. I go, he loves me. She's like, because you're good. You're whole. You are amazing. Kimberly, you need to just own that. And this is who you are. And I was like, I am good. I am whole. Oh my gosh, I am. And that was August 1st of 2017. And that was my first day of sobriety. And I just passed by 4 years.
That's amazing.
But thank you. And that is when everything changed. And you know why? Because that's not godly. And it's not divine. And when I was in that place, how could I hear what God wanted me to do? How can you hear what God wants you to do when you're doing this crap every day? And sometimes it's eating, sometimes it's binging on, Real Housewives. It's going to Target and just emotional, retail therapy, right? Right. It's different things for everybody. But it's when we are not in alignment with who we are and who God wants us to be, we feel discourse. You feel it. You just feel this divide. When you're not feeling in alignment every day, and when we say alignment, I'm talking about being in alignment with God and who he wants you to be, you will not feel happy. And I feel so joyful now every single day, even if my 5-year-old is giving me a run for my money, which she does. She's a strong-willed blessing, because I know I'm doing what God wants me to do. I don't have to motivate myself. I get out of bed every day going, oh my gosh, this is what I get to do every single day. So after that happened and I did that work, God started speaking to me very loudly. And he was like, you need to go on social media. I'm like, I don't no, not me. I don't have a following that scares me. Like, I don't want to put anything on my wall.
Yeah.
And it was like, you got to tell your story, girl. Like, you got to put yourself out there. And I was like, I mean, I still get chills thinking of all the nerves, you know, of, you know what it's like. You're like, oh my gosh, what's my husband going to think about this post? Mm-hmm. So I went on social media. I started going live every week, and I just served, honestly. I made a group where I coached them for free. We set goals all in with Kim. People started showing up and telling others, and it kept growing. And they're like, can you coach us? Can you teach us about goals and vision? And I was like, yes, of course. Like, this is my love language. Yeah. And so I launched my brand in 2018, that spring, the Gold Digger Girl. And since then, we've grown and grown and grown. We've hit, we reach 1 million per month on social. We've just passed $3 million in revenue as a company.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've written 5 books, best-selling books. I have a podcast. I'm top of my network marketing company. And we have 3 programs within the Gold Digger Girl that serve female entrepreneurs, like we talked about, at different levels, depending where they're at. And we're fingers crossed, just really close to having our nonprofit, the Elephant Sisters, approved. We're just waiting on all the, the legal things to go through.
That is amazing.
We're just, I don't even know what the next step looks like, but I literally am just obedient. And I feel like that's the right way to build your business.
Well, one of the things that, I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I picked the word unstuck for my podcast, and I didn't love it. And I've grown to be in love with it, because this is the thing for me, is that people that feel stuck recognize that they're not where they want to be. Right. And that's the first step. Is that feeling that disalignment of who you're meant to be and who God is calling you to be. And as soon as you can recognize that, looking around, I am stuck, I don't want to be here, then we can take the steps that we need to get better. Yes. But if we're still disillusioned and just numb to it, and we do all of the things to self-sabotage ourselves and prevent ourselves from recognizing it, that's when we stay stuck. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. You can't change anything if you're not even aware of it.
No.
Yeah, you're so right. I love that. Unstuck. And I literally just 3 different situations yesterday, people saying I'm stuck.
Yeah.
It's so common.
It is.
I'm stuck. I don't even know what to do. Mm-hmm. I feel overwhelmed, or, all the words.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. And I got to ask you this before I forget, but one thing that I find is interesting when I interview people for this podcast is that I have a lot of entrepreneurs that come on. And like you, I have my doctorate degree. I thought I was a career person, but I've always had entrepreneurial bones in me. I'm always thinking about ways I can earn money in other ways. So I'm curious, as somebody who has gone to school as long as you did and have multiple PhDs and everything, was that kind of a little bit of your journey as well? Or did you always know that you wanted to own your own business and not be in corporate America?
Yeah. When I was little, I remember my mom went to this bank where it was, those really tall buildings that are all mirrors.
Yeah.
And so, this was 90, probably early 90s. That was looked actually cool. I remember, I don't know why she let me sit in the car, but she did. But anyways, I was in the car and I remember looking up going, I want to work in one of those offices one day. I want that. But in my brain, it was an entrepreneur. It was a business. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I was selling bracelets when I was young. And that the people who I feel have multiple jobs and hustled their way, I paid for college myself, private school, paid cash for it. I feel like that internal just drive and hustle, I think is often a clue. And the other thing is, you probably do this, LaChelle, when you're talking to someone, are you oh, you should totally do this and you can make money from that.
Yes.
Just like my neighbor. And she's like, I have 3 kids at home. I'm good. Just simmer down.
I know. Right. I'm but you can make money that way. I know.
Yeah, girl. Then you could go do whatever.
Yeah. No, I think that is interesting, because I think that the reason I asked that question, I think, and is the reason that I'm more aware of it and tuned to it, is that even though I've always had that part of me, and I'm a hustler too, I had to pay for my college myself, all of the things, right? But it was when I started my online business that I completely grew into who I am and who God is trying to make me, and be in alignment with who He wants me to be. And it's so interesting. I did the Myers-Briggs recently, and there's too many letters. I can't remember what I got.
I know. I don't remember mine.
But what I thought was so interesting is that it was in alignment with what I'm doing now with my business, and not so much with my career in anesthesia. And so it was just really interesting that it took me starting my business to show me what God had in store for me all along.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and
absolutely.
I was like you in the sense of self-sabotaging myself and not having any confidence and really afraid of putting myself out there. That was the deal. I didn't want to be judged by anybody. And so I didn't post on Facebook. And I felt that God also led me down this path. And I feel like at the end of my life, if I'm able to help somebody else say, oh my goodness, like I trusted him and he brought me to a place that I never could have imagined for myself. And I was a tiny little sliver of a part of that. And then I've done my job.
Yeah. And also too, when you're in corporate, if you don't do well with authority, that was always a problem for me. But the other thing is I feel like I look back and people did not appreciate like the value I brought to the table. And I didn't understand that. And looking back now, I really think it was just an ego thing because I probably was shining a light on them and themselves and their insecurities. And that's how people react.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you're not valued at work, or you're just like, this doesn't bring me joy, having a salary is security.
Right.
That's safe.
Right.
And when we start to think about being an entrepreneur, and I'm not suggesting quit your job and just cash in your savings to start your business. I don't think that's wise. I did mine part-time until I replaced my income. But when you're feeling that way, that's probably a pretty good sign that you don't need them to validate you.
Right.
That's not their job. Their job is not to validate you. Your job is to validate yourself.
Right.
And value yourself.
And I think that one of the things that I struggled with that myself actually, and I interpreted it as that I was too much for people.
Same. Oh my gosh. We have so much.
And that I needed to dilute my message down a little bit because I'm just too much. Right. And then I got in my mind like, okay, well, am I the common denominator? Like, do I not play well in the sandbox?
Right.
But it was that I had all these ideas and I wanted to make things better and I was ready to take action and actually do things and all the things. And I think that decreased my self-worth for the longest time until I started to recognize that, hey, wait a minute, I just am not a right fit for this.
Right.
And so I think
100%.
that's such a great analogy because I think that sometimes we think that there's something wrong with us.
Yeah.
If we've had those thoughts. Okay. So I want to dive into your tips and your tricks for people who are in that self-sabotaging mindset and try to help the people who are needing a little bit of extra encouragement and practical tools to help get them there. But first, you guys, I'm going to tell you all about the program that I've been putting together that is literally going to help you align with your purpose, but do it in a way that gives you all of the time freedom to spend doing the things that you love and bring you joy. So give me just a couple moments to tell you all about that amazing thing that I have in store for you, and then we'll be back right after this. Hey, LaChellewieme here, and I got to ask you, are you feeling like you're always on your freaking phone and you're trying to run your business, your family's complaining about you always being on your phone, you feel like you're winging it constantly, and all you want to do is have a strategy that lets you be 100% authentic and you are literally attracting the right people to you? Oh my goodness, that was me too. And I had to figure out a system that would make that work. And I totally nailed it. I have a program all designed to help you do that too, including a chance to spend the entire day with me so I can help you write copy that attracts people, and you will literally be done for an entire year. If that sounds like it's something that you need, we totally need to talk. Go ahead and click this link and let's get started. Okay, so Kimberly, I want to start to encourage the people who are listening to your, story, right? And what I love about your story is the vulnerability that you give us, because it wasn't all, I didn't grow up in this, privileged life and all the things and everything has come easy to me. Like, no, you had some struggles. You had struggles with depression. You had struggles with substance abuse. You had struggles with lack of self-worth. You had struggles that all of us can relate to, yet you continue to persevere. And what I love about your story as well is that your business started off well and then it didn't go as well. And so many of us would quit. We're like, maybe I'm not cut out for this. And so you have this ability within you to continue to pick yourself up even when you get knocked down, which is the whole point of this podcast, right? Is to show how we can rise up above our circumstances. So how do you suggest people who are feeling stuck right now in their circumstances and they're self-sabotaging their future? What advice would you give them to start moving in the right direction?
Yeah. Well, whenever we feel that way, that is because we are looking around at our circumstances. Our eyes are not up. Our eyes are not forward. And if you read anything in the Bible or think about what God wants for you, he says he will not harm you. He will prosper you. And I always think about that with everything going on in the world. And being an entrepreneur, there's no guarantee on my income, right? Like something could happen tomorrow. And I always tell myself, he's got you. You'll be fine. Like just keep going forward. So whenever we're looking around, this is the past. Like you looking around is what you have created that you're experiencing right now. So what we need to do is we need to look forward into the future. And when we're feeling like we're stuck in our circumstances, that's about us. We're looking inward and we're playing the victim card. And I know that's like in your face, but it's totally true. Okay. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to get in the driver's seat and we're going to say, you know what can I do to look this way? And what can I do to think about serving others and how I can show up in my true self? Because when we show up as our true selves, we feel fulfilled. We know we're, living out our purpose. So what I would recommend doing is going somewhere where you're not looking around, like maybe your like little house that you don't like, or you're at the job, you're at the desk that you hate this job, or you're arguing with your husband about money again. Go somewhere. Just say, you know what, I just need a moment to myself, get someone to take care of the kids, and just go to a coffee shop that you love, go to a park, go by a tree and sit there and get a journal out. And I want you to really just sit, and I want you to just ask for I call them divine downloads, but ask, and you might not be there yet. If you have substance abuse or whatever, you could be a bit blocked off from hearing God's message, but even not even going there yet, just being open to ideas to flow in. I want you to sit and I want you to say to yourself, okay, if life could be anything I wanted it to be, I could have, and like you say, be better, be good, all your slogan, which I love, because I'm always like, what do you want to have? What do you want to be? What do you want to do?
Yes.
Like, what are those categories, right?
Yep.
And I want you to say to yourself, and I'll tell you guys, this is a true story. I did this 10 years ago. The first time, it gives me chills. I did each section. What do I want to have? What do I want to be and do? 10. I put 10 things in each, which was hard to think of 10. One of them was, what do you want to have is a mountain home, a second home that's a mountain home. And I thought, whatever, right? But I'm dreaming. This is what I want you to do. I want you to sit and dream. When is the last time you've done that? Really dream. And I did. And we're actually a few months out from finishing that second mountain home. You would have told me 10 years ago, would that happen? I didn't really believe it, but I wished for it, right? I dreamt it. So I want you to sit and I want you to journal out and I want you to say, okay, what would I be doing? Who would I be with? What would that look like? And then I want you to say, what's the next step I can take to start to make this a reality? And I want you to look at each category. Okay, if you need to go get certified in something, get coaching, which you and I are both coaches and we are very passionate about investing in ourselves and others.
Yes.
I believe that everybody needs to go get a coach, because they're going to ramp up. They're going to slash years off of the learning curve, but they're going to keep you up when you're down. They're going to speak truth into you and keep you going, just like I had Michelle all those years ago. And so I want you to say to yourself, what is that action step I can take? Is it getting a personal trainer so you can start feeling better and lose weight? Is it getting some marriage counseling with your husband so you can get on the same page? What do you need to do? And you know what's so amazing about action? Action gets us into movement, and it gets us out of feeling stuck, and it gets us out of the self-pity, and it gets us forward motion, which is exactly what you need. And you know what happens when you do that and you keep your eye on the prize and you stay this way? What will happen is you're not paying attention to right here. You're not looking at your bank account not having money. You're not looking at the fact that you're not in the neighborhood that you want. Eyes are forward, and you get aligned with that, and it's going to happen so fast. You're not going to believe what you manifest and what you create by getting in alignment like that.
That is amazing. And you guys, I hope that you take this action and you actually implement it, because that's the whole point, right? So many times people listen to podcasts, they read books, and they don't actually do what it is that you are being told to actually get you into that place. And then one of the things, Kimberly, that you have shared with me is that you do something to help you visualize what that future looks like. So describe there's an app that you use.
Oh yes. Think Up app.
Think Up app is what she uses. And so tell us a little bit about that so that people can understand what that is.
Yeah. And like you said, we want to take action. So if we listen so much, we get constipated, education constipation, right?
Yes.
We do. We get uncomfortable. We like it. We like listening to podcasts and taking trainings, but if we don't implement, we do feel uncomfortable. So please implement. So one way to implement is to download the Think Up app. It's on all, cell phone services. You can get it. Mm-hmm. Think Up, it's one word. And so what you do is they have some suggestions for different areas of your life. I like to record my own and make up my own. But what you're going to do is you're going to record in present tense affirmations in all areas of your life, what you want. And you're going to say it as it is already is. And then you record them all and you pick a music track, save it, and you can play it. And what's so powerful is you are talking to yourself. Yep. So your subconscious mind is hearing you. So it's like, oh yeah, this is the truth. And music actually accesses a different part of our brain, a really deep subconscious part of our brain. So it really sticks. And that repetition. So the Think Up app, you can listen to it every day. Mm-hmm. I have them all saved when I first started using this app 4 years ago. They have all come to fruition. And I remember going, I don't know, this would be really cool. And it's all happened. It's insane how quickly things can change. So I love that app as a tool. I think I should try that.
And I love that, you guys. And Kimberly and I both have a very solid morning routine. And that's part of mine, is that I listen to my vision every single morning for 5 minutes as part of my miracle morning. And when we do that, our brain thinks in pictures. And so when we're listening to ourselves speaking and we're listening to the music and we're putting this together and we're picturing that life as it is already taking place at this moment, our brain literally cannot tell the difference between when something is an imagination or a memory. And so when you start to live in this life and you start to make decisions that are reflective of that life. And just like Kimberly said, when you can start to live in that moment right now and you make those tiny steps to get there, you're going to find that all of a sudden you look around and you're like, wait a minute, I'm not there anymore.
Absolutely.
I'm here.
Yeah.
And so did you ever feel like, one of the things that I hear a lot is that people don't feel worthy of better.
Oh,
and that keeps them stuck.
Like everybody. Yeah. So that's where the self-sabotage comes in. So if you've ever, for those listening, if you're an entrepreneur, and this can happen with a spouse too, but if you make a certain amount of money you've never made before, you spend it all. Or you go on a great vacation with your husband and you pick a fight on the way home. And The Big Leap would be a good resource for you by Gay Hendricks. Love that book. I recommend it to everyone, because what happens is we don't even realize it, but we have a set point. We have a comfort point of a quality of life. And if we start to go above that, our subconscious, our old, habits, they want to pull us back down. So we self-sabotage to get back down here. Same with your income. If you suddenly have a bump in income, you'll spend it all and you're back down here. So we have to acknowledge it, like you talked about before, LaChelle. Like acknowledging it is that first really important step, because what it does is it starts to put you in control when you can observe and go, oh my gosh, I'm picking a fight with my husband. Like, this is ridiculous. And I've consciously told myself, just let it go. Like, say he says something like offhand or, just kind of not polite. Yeah. I could pick a fight over that and make it a big deal. I'll tell myself, it's just self-sabotage. Like, we're hitting a limit. And I'll just be like, okay, whatever, move on. And everything's great. It's like, why do we do that to ourselves? So yeah, absolutely. That's a really, really important piece of this, is to realize it and then acknowledge it and go, okay, I'm going to rise above this. I'm going to keep growing, and you'll create a new set point, which is really cool.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. That's one of the things I'm doing right now with time, actually. So we talk so much about money scarcity, but I have a time scarcity.
I do too.
And so if I wake up in the morning and think of all the things I have to get done, it's like, no, LaChelle, like, you're abundant in time. Like, you have all the time you need to do today to do everything that you need to do.
Nice.
It's going to put me in a different mindset, because when I get to the point in my life where my goals have been met to where I want them to be, I don't want to continue to stay in that hustle. But that's where my mindset is continuing to be, is in this time scarcity. And so it's that acknowledgement of that we are worthy of better, right? It's that acknowledgement of literally looking around us and picking out the parts in our day that we want to be better, and to start to be thankful and appreciative of that better, right? And attracting more of that better.
Yeah. We get energy flows where attention goes, or energy goes where attention, whatever it is, what we focus on, we get more of. And Earl Nightingale, hands down, my favorite quote: what we focus on, we get more of. And that's the greatest secret. Like, literally, what are you focusing on? And if like you going around going, time is abundant, you're going to have more time. If you go, for me, when I realized money is actually very abundant. If you actually look at the total amount of money that is generated in this world every year, it goes up and up and up. So when I realized, like, it's not about me having more than someone else, it's me going, I'd rather I have the money so one day I can be like Oprah and just like give away cars. Mm-hmm. And that's why I wanted to start the nonprofit, because I was like, okay, how can I take these blessings that I'm getting and turn around and serve my community and support them when a husband gets laid off or a child is sick? So when you start to see like things really are abundant, mm-hmm. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That would change for me with social media when I started to notice, like if I really thought about it and all of the billions of people that are on social media, and I thought, oh my goodness, there are so many people on social media that need what I have that I don't even have time to help all of them. Mm-hmm. It takes the scarcity out of, oh my gosh, I can't find anyone, to, oh my gosh, like there's so many people who need my help that I can't even help everybody. And so I think that is so powerful, you guys. So really pay attention to where you're focusing on. And again, if you're feeling stuck, if you are feeling unworthy, if you're feeling any of that stuff, really ask yourself, am I focusing on that? Am I focusing on where I'm stuck or my circumstances? Or am I focusing on the future part of me that I really want to see come to fruition? So Kimberly, any last minute things that you wanted to talk about that we haven't already touched on that's really important to you and your mission to help people?
Whenever you're feeling stuck, I would just remind yourself that God already has a plan for you, and all we're supposed to do is be obedient. I mean, that's it. And I know it sounds so like old time, like be obedient, but when you're just truly obedient, you always know the next step. People say, how did you, what's your business plan to get to, 2 million, 5 million? What's the plan? I'm like, oh, I couldn't tell you what we're doing next quarter. Like my team is literally like, so I'm like, and I'll tell them like, we were going to publish a magazine this year. And I said, all right, God just told me we're not publishing the magazine. We're going to actually launch an entire media company, but it's not till next year. And they were like, okay, like they all know now. So I would just say when you really start to listen, this is how you know that nudge you get, like I should go live or I should call that person. And then you go, no. You talk yourself out of it. The no is your ego. It's your subconscious. You don't listen to that part. You listen to the first part. That nudge is God. Okay, that's divine. He's speaking that to you so you can take that step of growth or connection or whatever you need to do. And then when you listen, it gets louder and louder, where I'm literally like walking to do something and he'll be like, okay, no. And I'm like, okay, I'm obedient. Yeah. I'll just go do this other thing. Like it's crazy. Like you feel like you're a little, whoa, but it's that amazing. Like, could you imagine just knowing what to do? It's just such a comforting feeling, a confident feeling. And all the questions subside, and you just know that you're going to be okay. The
more you do it, the more comfortable you get with it. And I'm on this journey. Yes. Like I'm not where I want to be, but I'm further than I was. That's my honest answer with that. But I think that the biggest struggle I've had with discernment or following that guidance is not trusting myself that I was hearing it right? Mm-hmm. And I think that if you can start to trust yourself in the little things, then you're going to be able to build that confidence to trust it into the next little bigger thing and the next little bigger thing, right? And I think that one of the things that we can be disillusioned at is I used to think that I was going to miss my chance, right? So like, let's just say I'm network marketing and I'm in the airplane and I'm like, if you don't talk to this person, you're going to miss out on this, $1 million earner that's possibly sitting next to you. The reality is that what is supposed to happen will happen. And God will continue to put stuff in front of us until we finally recognize it. So you don't miss a chance. It's not a once in a lifetime. He will keep putting stuff in front of you louder and louder and louder until you start to listen. So he's not going to give up on you. And I think that, sometimes I think we lose trust in ourselves as well when it comes to discernment, because we listen to that nudge and that it doesn't turn out the way that we thought it was gonna. But if you really look back, you're going to realize, oh my gosh, that was such a blessing because look, I learned this, or I met this person or whatever. So think about it in this way, like this or something better.
I was just going to say that. I love that.
Right?
Yes,
LaChelle. He has something better that might be different than the outcome you had in mind, but it's always better. And so just remember that if something that your nudge, your little gut, you have, it has you do something and it doesn't turn out exactly the way you thought, it is for a divine purpose, and it's up to you to look for that and to understand the lesson and understand the gift in that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So Kimberly, if people want to follow you, work with you, all the things, I will have all of the things in the show notes so that people can, do all of the things that you're doing. And is there anything special that you wanted to mention that you're working on
that
you want people to know about at this time?
Oh, I'm always working on something.
I know, right?
That. I would definitely, connect. You'll see my handles, all my pages, all the things. I'm on every single platform at The Goal Digger Girl, and it's GOAL. So when you watch this episode or listen, just take a screenshot, throw it in your stories, and tag me at The Goal Digger Girl on Instagram, and I'll give you a shout out. And then you'll see, we'll put my Facebook community down there. It's Goal Digging Boss Babes. We have about 25,000 women in there. Mm-hmm. For any of you that are learning about social media, entrepreneurship, and, we're always talking about how these principles can apply to marriage and parenting. I mean, really, it's everything we're talking about today can apply to any area of your life. So love to have you in our community. That would be really cool.
Amazing. And I finish every single episode, my friend, with having my guest give one coaching question, one question to ponder so the audience can think about to help them get from where they are to where they want to be. So what question would you ask them to think about?
What I would ask yourself to think about is, if you could do anything in this world, but not specifics, like be a teacher, but ask yourself, what do I feel like is my spiritual gift? So one of my spiritual gifts is the gift of encouragement. Mm-hmm. I can see things in people that they can't see. And so I'm in alignment with that because that's what I do every day. Ask yourself, what's your spiritual gift? Like, what do you really believe that God has you here for? And when you start to talk yourself out of it, like, no, it's way too big. Like, I want you to just embrace it. I want you to sit with it, and I want you to ask for clues. I want you to ask him to show you that next step, and really, really like pay attention. Like you said, LaChelle, look for those little signs and know that they're getting you on that path, that next step forward of why you're here. And you literally will just look back and go, oh, all of that had to happen just as it was to get me right here.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Thank you so much for blessing us today. And thanks for everything that you do every single day.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for listening to the Unstuck Podcast. I am so grateful to be on this journey with you. And don't forget to check out the show notes if you want to get into my private club, the Better Club, to be able to learn better ways to be better, do better, and have better. So until next time, keep showing up. Let's get unstuck together. Have a great day.